Navy warship 121. This is Sepah Navy station. You must alter course and go back to the Indian Ocean immediately. If you don't obey my order, you will be targeted. Out.
This is Coalition Warship 121, engaged in transit passage in accordance with international law. No challenge is attended to you.
U.S. Navy warship transiting in the vicinity of Fujay Report and Oman Sea. This is Sepah Navy. This is Sepah Navy. Last warning, last warning, last warning.
The most powerful navy in history just destroyed Iran's entire fleet in 6 weeks. Every warship, every submarine, billions of dollars in military equipment, gone. But right now, more than 600 cargo ships are stuck outside the Strait of Hormuz, unable to move. Not because of Iranian warships, not because of fighter jets, because of cheap metal boxes sitting on the ocean floor. The United States Navy cannot clear them.
Attention all vessels, attention all vessels, attention all vessels in Oman Sea. This is Iranian Sepah Navy. If you see any warship in your vicinity, keep a distance more than 10 miles from them, because I'm ready to open fire on them.
Let me explain what's actually happening in one of the most important waterways on Earth and why a navy that costs over $200 billion per year is being stopped by weapons that cost less than a used car. The Strait of Hormuz is a tiny stretch of water between Iran and Oman, and its narrowest point, it's only 21 miles wide, but every single day, about 20% of the world's oil passes through here. That's roughly 20 million barrels. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, most of their oil exports go through this strait. If this waterway closes, gas prices shoot up everywhere. Your grocery bills go up. Everything that gets transported by truck costs more. And right now, Iran has turned this strait into something the U.S. military wasn't ready for. Here's the problem. Iran didn't fight the U.S. Navy with warships. They used naval mines. These are weapons that sit on the sea floor and wait. Some of them are old-fashioned contact mines. They float just below the surface on a cable. When a ship's hull touches them, they explode. Simple and cheap. Iran has thousands of these, and each one costs between $1,500 and $5,000. But there are more dangerous types. Influence mines. They sit on the bottom and listen. They have sensors that detect the magnetic field of a steel ship passing overhead, or the sound of a propeller, or the pressure wave a large ship creates in the water. When the mine detects the right combination of signals, it explodes upward into the ship's hull. The ship doesn't even need to be close. Some of these mines can detect vessels from over 300 feet away. The worst type is called a rising rocket mine. It sits completely silent on the sea floor. When it hears a propeller, it launches a warhead upward through the water at 260 feet per second. The warhead travels from the ocean floor to the ship's hull in less than 2 seconds. There's no warning, no alarm, just a massive hole in the bottom of the ship and water flooding in. Let me give you some context on how effective these weapons are. Back in 1988, a single Iranian mine hit an American warship called the Samuel B. Roberts. That one mine cost about $1,500. It ripped a 15-foot hole in the hull, cracked the ship's backbone, flooded 2 engine rooms, and injured 10 sailors. The ship almost sank. Repairing it took 13 months and cost $89.5 million. One $1,500 mine cost $89 million in damage. That's a cost ratio of almost 60,000 to 1 in favor of the mine. Now multiply that by the number of mines Iran has. Experts estimate they have between 2,000 and 6,000 mines available. Even at the low end, the math is terrifying. For over 30 years, the United States kept 4 special ships permanently stationed in Bahrain, right next to the Strait of Hormuz. These were called Avenger-class minesweepers. They were built specifically to find and destroy naval mines. Their hulls were made of wood and fiberglass instead of steel, so they wouldn't trigger magnetic mines. They moved slowly through the water, using sonar equipment to map the seafloor and identify mines.
These ships had specially trained Navy divers who would do one of the most dangerous jobs imaginable. They would put on wetsuits, drop into water where they knew explosive devices were sitting on the bottom, swim down to a live mine, attach a small explosive charge to it, swim back to a safe distance, and detonate it underwater. One mine at a time. It was slow, dangerous work. But it worked. In September 2025, 5 months before the first American missile hit Iran, the Navy pulled all 4 of these ships out of Bahrain and sent them to Philadelphia to be scrapped, cut apart for recycling. 30 years of mine-clearing expertise gone. The reason was simple. The ships were old. Some had been in service for over 30 years. The wood in their hulls needed constant maintenance. Their engines were outdated. Keeping them operational cost millions per year. The Navy said replacements were coming. Better technology, faster results. The replacements were called littoral combat ships. These were supposed to be multi-mission warships. Instead of having one ship that only clears mines, you build a ship that can swap between different missions by loading different equipment packages. If you need to clear mines, load the mine package. It sounded good on paper, but there's a massive problem. The mine clearing package has never been proven to work properly. The Pentagon's own testing office reported they couldn't determine if the system was effective because there wasn't enough data. The underwater drone that's supposed to find mines has trouble identifying them even in calm water off the coast of California. The system that's supposed to destroy the mines was rated not operationally suitable, with equipment working less than 30% of the time. And unlike the old ships where the mine clearing gear was built in and ready to go, every single piece of equipment on these new ships has to be individually lowered into the water, connected, calibrated, and monitored, a process that takes hours before a single mine can even be searched for. The United States spent $30 billion building a replacement for 4 wooden ships, and right now, with thousands of mines potentially in the Strait of Hormuz, the replacement cannot reliably do the job. Even if the equipment worked perfectly, clearing mines is unbelievably slow. A minesweeper moves through the water at roughly 5 knots. That's slower than most people jog. Each pass covers a strip about 300 to 600 feet wide. After each pass, the ship turns around and sweeps the next strip. Think of it like mowing a lawn, except the lawn is 21 miles wide, you can't see the grass, and some of the grass might kill you. The Strait of Hormuz is about 35 kilometers long and 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. The actual shipping lanes are narrower, but mines don't care about shipping lanes. They drift with the current. An influence mine can move hundreds of meters before settling again. So even after you clear a lane, the lane might not stay clear. Iran understands this perfectly. Laying a mine takes minutes. A small boat pulls up, rolls the mine over the side, and drives away. Clearing that same mine can take days. At that rate, if Iran laid even a few hundred mines, clearing them could take months. And here's what makes this even more complicated. On April 9th, Iran's Revolutionary Guard did something unprecedented. They published a map showing the Strait of Hormuz with the normal international shipping lanes marked as a danger zone. This was the first time Iran officially admitted it had placed mines in the waterway. But the map did more than just confirm what everyone suspected. It showed Iran's new plan. The map directed all commercial ships away from the normal lanes and into a narrow corridor near Larik Island. To use this corridor, every ship must submit detailed information: identification number, full crew list, complete cargo description, ownership history, and final destination, all sent to contacts linked to the Revolutionary Guard. Then the ship receives a radio code that works as a transit permit. Without the code, you don't pass.
And then came the toll. Iran's parliament passed something called the Strait of Hormuz Management Plan on March 30th. Under this plan, every ship passing through must pay $1 per barrel of oil on board, payment accepted in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, not US dollars. For a standard oil tanker carrying 2 million barrels, that's a $2 million fee to pass through a waterway that has been free for all of recorded history. Think about what that means. The U.S. claims Iran lost its entire navy, its supreme leader is dead, its military infrastructure is shattered, and it's now running a toll booth on the most important shipping lane on the planet, collecting fees in cryptocurrency that American sanctions can't touch, controlling global oil traffic through a corridor it manages, getting complete intelligence on every ship, crew, and cargo passing through. The ceasefire assumed Iran would simply reopen the strait. Iran is doing something far more strategic. It's keeping the strait technically open, but functionally under its control. 5 to 7 ships per day are getting through. The normal number is over 130. That's not an open waterway. That's a choke point being operated as a business. If you live in the United States, you've already noticed gas prices climbing to $4.10 per gallon, up 37% since late February. Diesel is even higher. Every truck that delivers food to your grocery store runs on diesel. Every cargo ship that brings products to American ports burns fuel priced against global oil markets. Oil is sitting over $119 per barrel right now. Before the war, it was below $70. The daily cost of the Hormuz closure to the global economy is estimated at $3.2 billion, not per month, per day. That number goes directly into the price of everything you buy. American officials recently said something extraordinary. Iran may not know where all of its own mines are. According to reporting, U.S. officials believe Iran may not have accurate records of every mine it laid. Some mines were deployed in a scattered manner. Others have drifted from their original positions due to currents. The country that laid the mines cannot guarantee where they all are, and the country that wants to clear them doesn't have the equipment to do it quickly. The United States has 2 aircraft carriers in the region. It has dozens of destroyers and submarines. It has hundreds of fighter jets. It has satellites that can read a license plate from orbit. And none of it matters against a weapon that costs less than a month's rent, sitting silently on the ocean floor, waiting. Meanwhile, 600 ships sit outside the strait. Oil prices keep climbing, and somewhere on the bottom of the Persian Gulf, a $1,500 mine is listening for the sound of a propeller. That's it for today. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and write your thoughts in the comments section.